co-op
Yeah, we're
mode.
tuning into
One
the
of pieces
permissionless
of feedback
conference.
that we received very early on when we launched earlier this year in July was
And then we'll get into the
it
full
was a little
stream.
bit frustrating to people that there was a microtransaction every time you went into the overworld. And for us, we always envisioned that the overworld would be like opening a pack of cards. You go in there, you collect the alluvials that you want, and you pay for that, right? Like you would if you go and buy a pack of Pokemon cards in GameStop. Unfortunately, that wasn't received very well, and so this co-op mode is a completely free-to-play mode, and you face endless waves of enemies while progressing and leveling up your ranger and picking up some sweet loot along the way. The third feature and last feature is progression and quests. One of the frustrating things about building so many games at once was we needed to
If you're just
make
tuning in, this is
sacrifices,
permissionless.
and
We're going to watch a little bit of
the
it, and we'll
story
get into the
was
normal
one of them.
stream. Thanks for joining.
And I don't mean we don't have a storyline. As you can see from the cinematic, there's quite a bit to uncover there. But it was more so that we needed to draw a line in the sand. We'd been building for 4 years and work out, do we just launch now or do we keep on adding things in? And we made the tough choice to launch. And one of those sacrifices was the lore. And now with this new quests and progression system that we have, you'll finally be able to uncover the mysteries of this planet, which still to this day, after 4 or 5 years of us talking about Illuvium, no one is aware of what Illuvium is, why the Rangers are on the planet, why you're trying to repair your ship to go back home. And so this is a feature that people have been waiting for a long, long time, and I think it's going to be really well received. You can also do things like battle these NPCs, more like a typical MMO style experience. If anyone has played World of Warcraft back in the day, it's that type of thing where you grab a whole bunch of people together and you can go and do raids and get cool loot. And yeah, it just completely changes the game in Overworld.
Yo, what's up? This is Kieran Warwick from Illuvium, Futureverse founder, Polemos founder.
So,
who's also
4
supposed to
years
be talking
ago,
as well.
A very smart VC.
Well, good to see you, Buffalo.
Well, he didn't invest at the time, so maybe not smart, but told us when he looked at our tokenomics, he said, I love everything, but you're missing rewards. And I said to him, no, we're not. We have 3 million ILV put aside for staking rewards. And he said, I'm not talking about staking rewards, I'm talking about in-game incentives. And luckily enough, we had that conversation, and I looked into it, and I thought, you know what? This is a bit of a silver bullet that we have that mainstream games don't have. It's a way to incentivize your users and retain them over time. And today, with the 1 million ILV we've put aside, we have a war chest of $40 million that we can use for tournaments, which will be starting next month. So you'll be able to play Illuvium, and we'll start to bring in pros from our competitors' games and have monthly prize pools of over $350,000. So when we talk about getting mainstream adoption, these are the types of things that Web3 brings to allow us to actually get that across.
And every single game's having massive amounts of prize pools.
One of our partners, Polemos, who's actually on the gaming booth with us, they've got a system which basically allows you to borrow an alluvial. And so what I mean by that is to go into these tournaments and win, you need really good alluvials. And the problem with that is most of these good alluvials on our marketplace cost a lot of money. So this system that Polemos has built allows you to go and borrow one of these characters, go and play your tournament, ideally win that tournament, get your prize money, and then go back and give that alluvial back. And hopefully then you've got enough money next time to be able to actually go and buy them and then own it yourself. So that's really cool. We've got a gaming booth that's going to be running tournaments all throughout permissionless. If you're into auto battlers or you just want to try a fun game, come out and see us. If you register we're going to be,
I missed the beginning of this, but I'm kind of
holding
curious
three
what like the
different
reception
tournaments
is from
worth
the
$2.5
audience.
grand prize money.
Like,
Each
do you feel like
day.
you learned a lot
It's
about
definitely
that?
worth your while, and would love to see you over there. The last thing that I wanted to mention is a cross IP collaboration for the first time that we're doing with Illuvium, and that might seem crazy, but over the last 4 years, I must have received, call it 500 requests from different games to be able to do collaborations with us, and we're very, very particular with who we work with. One of them that we decided 6 months ago now was Futureverse, but I won't talk too much about that. I'll let Aaron come up on stage and showcase what we're doing together and how we're building this interoperable universe that is completely open. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Okay. Setting up for Futureverse pretty good.
Morning, everyone. Now that Kieran's got you kind of excited with a bit of game footage, I wanted to zoom out a little bit.
He's way quieter.
And talk about the bigger picture. I'm Aaron McDonald. I'm the founder of Futureverse, and we're a deep tech media company operating at the intersection of AI, Web3, and immersive content. We're HQ'd in Auckland in New Zealand and in LA. We have about 200 people in 16 countries around the world who are working on one mission: to make the idea of the open metaverse real. So what is the metaverse? Well, I think it's important to understand that the metaverse is more than a video game, although that's a big part of it. It's the future UX of the internet. It's the internet your kids grew up with. It's the more social network. It's where AIGC content lives. It's where the agentic web is visualized. I think the important thing is you live in it. The line between the physical and the digital world no longer exists. They are symbiotic. If you take the digital world out of the economy, it will cease to exist. If you take the digital out of society, it will collapse as we know it. In fact, 44 years is the time the average person is going to spend watching a screen in their life. And so this idea that the metaverse is this other thing is totally wrong. So why Web3? Why is that important? Well, I guess if this is the new UI for the internet, then it's the same reason that Bitcoin was invented, and that is ownership. If we want Web3 to matter in this new version of the internet, then Web3 technology is fundamentally about delivering ownership of digital value online. Everything else in Web3 stems from this, and if it doesn't deliver that outcome, it's probably bull. If we want the internet to be open, then delivering that for content is equally important, because content is an asset that lives in this new web. And ownership of that content or those intangible assets is just as important as owning a Bitcoin. In fact, if your avatar is your identity, then you definitely want to own that. It's part of who you are. But one thing we hear quite often when we start to talk about this immersive internet gaming experience, is all the things powered by Web3, is it's a scam. And actually, despite the hype and the promise and the investment and the intuitive value in owning digital culture online, the things we spend our time and our money on, it's actually virtually useless. It's the reason gamers are so quick to call Web3 gaming a scam, because it doesn't deliver anything new or different to what they already have. An asset that can mostly exist in one game that it was built for isn't really ownership. And Kieran showed earlier just a little peek in how an interoperable asset can work across a group of games. But what we really need to do to deliver on the promise of Web3 gaming is to make it work everywhere. Ownership and content in Web3 is much like owning a gold bar that sits in someone else's vault today, or a dog that lives in your neighbor's garage.
That's about to say, he's going to bring up the dog.
Through the window, you can pet it if they let you in. They might let you take it out for a walk, but you don't really own it. So how do we change that? How do we succeed? How do we make Web3 gaming and the metaverse open gaming successful? Well, it's actually kind of simple, but also really hard. Every great product does one thing that feels magic, that was different to what was possible before. It might even be a little bit shitty in every other respect, but for that one bit of magic, it makes up for it. And what is that magic? It's interoperability. For content, interoperability is the thing that makes Web3 gaming magic. It's the thing I can't do now that I want to be able to do. It's the thing that gives meaning to owning a token. But it's also super hard to achieve. Different engines, devices, platforms, different kinds of content, textures, shaders, the list goes on. But we cracked it. And here's a simple overview for solving interoperability, for making wearables. So the things that you can put on your character can work everywhere. Now today, if you were going to do that as a game developer, it would be super, super hard. You'd have to make different types of garments for different types of characters. Every time you add a new character, you multiply the number of garments that you have to make it interoperable. That doesn't work. And with our protocols and tools at Futureverse, we've solved a lot of those problems. In fact, we invented a whole new protocol called the Universal Blueprint Framework. And this is part of our offering. It's a standard for creating interoperable content at scale that users can truly own. You can think of it as user-owned content as an internet protocol. It does the same thing for content as solving the double spend problem did for money online. It's a revolutionary way to make the idea of ownership real and give meaning to content in Web3. Once you've got that locked in, and that truly delivering the value proposition, then you do the next thing to make this successful. You make something new. You do something that wasn't possible before. You can start to build on top of that. All of the other things that we talk about in Web3 about ownership that allows permissionless lending and DeFi and all of those types of principles in GameFi can start to mean something, and you can give those users experiences that are driven by true ownership. And we like the idea of mixing gaming and DeFi principles, and that becomes supercharged when there are more places that your things can go to and more things that you can do with those things that you love. And that's why we teamed up with Polemos, who's building one of the best experiences I've seen for GameFi. It's a non-custodial wallet that addresses security and control for end users, for the assets they own. It provides interoperability, it's chain agnostic, game agnostic, enabling seamless integrations between different builders that are building experiences with interoperable content. And they, as Kieran mentioned, allow non-collateralized lending of digital assets, opening up brand new opportunities for gamers in countries and markets around the world. So open gaming will win. It'll win because of the magic that we can deliver with true ownership. Although the hype of the open metaverse was overshadowed by the reality of the technology has advanced. And we've solved those core issues that deliver the ownership that create the magic for users. Now that we have the tools to give meaning to ownership, that will unlock the future growth of gaming and the metaverse. And here, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what we've been building to bring this technology into every home. We teamed up with Ernie Klein, who wrote Ready Player One. He's in the audience here somewhere. Shout out to Ernie. To bring this story that everyone knows and loves about the metaverse to life using this technology. You can actually head over to the gaming lounge now and try out Promptopia, our new Readyverse gaming experience powered by Futureverse's novel generative AI models. So if you're into having a bit of fun, go and do that. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Everything in there was generated by our models, so you can go and change the environment, spawn objects in there randomly, change the music, fight and play with your friends. Last but not least, I'd like to bring up Kevin on stage from Polemos, who's got an awesome announcement to share about how we're bringing more gamers and institutions into this space. Thanks, Kevin.
So was there no like reference to how there was interoperability between Illuvium and
Hi everybody,
Futureverse?
my name is Kevin. I'm one of the co-founders of Polemos. And today we're really
Kieran
excited
kinda
to
set that
announce
up
a
like that
deal
was
that's
gonna be
been done
touched on.
between Polemos and Buff Gaming. Buff Gaming is a publicly listed gaming company with 16 million gamers that have been loyal to Buff for many years and that are hardcore gamers. These are real gamers, not yield hunters. These are people that have been playing games and love playing games and have done for many years. So today we're announcing the fact that the Polemos Asset Management Wallet will be directly integrated into the Buff Gaming interface, which brings to Web3 16 million people that are super excited to come and to get involved with the Web3 gaming ecosystem. What that does for Web3 gaming is it means that the institutions are here and they're at the table, right? It means that truly now we have 16 million gamers that are ready, willing, and able to test out the games that everybody's been building. And so with that, I'd like to close up by saying, please come and see us over at the Gaming Lounge. We're very excited to partner with Futureverse and Illuvium at the lounge, and enjoy your week. Thanks very much.
Wait, that was it?
Please welcome back to the stage Jason Yanowitz, joined by Anil Kumar and David Hoffman.
Wait, did I miss something? Yeah, did I miss something? Was that guy not going to talk longer? There was no reference to Futureverse in that, or where? Huh? All right, I'm assuming they're going to like a talk right now. Yeah, what? All right, so we didn't get any touch on what was the partnership between Futureverse and Illuvium. Aaron also set up that last guy to like tell more. I have no idea what Buff Gaming is. Like that was like the worst way to describe that. They have very loyal people, 15 million. They're excited to do stuff at Web3. Well, if these are traditional gamers, how do we know that they're excited? I mean, I don't know. But in terms of the Promptopia, I thought it was cool. The video, I don't know why they had the character like walking along in Promptopia for so long, and then like the generative typing, you know, they're like make a bigger gun, and it turned into like a cube. Okay, and then they like walk to another area. That part didn't really make any sense, to be totally honest. The gunplay initially off the rip didn't look that smooth. The different instances I loved, and my mind immediately went to the concept of TikTok, right? Where we have these very short attention spans. Well, I play League a lot, which I reference a lot, but I'm fine with just playing that game. But I'm curious if the idea behind Promptopia and these multiple worlds, these multiple different games, it's going to be, all right, well, we're going to go start this game. Well, okay, let's go over to this one once we get bored of it, which, I mean, in League, you get tilted, goes horrible, you have a bad game, team does horrible, people start chewing each other out. All right, we need a little bit of a change up. Well, that could be an opportunity to do so. League, oh, yeah, listen, Boomer, listen, we love League. We love it. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that talk was cool. I think they showcased a little bit. It did feel like there was a lot of hype and expectations kind of going into permissionless, but I just felt from like the three people that were a part of this, Polemos, Futureverse, and Illuvium, it didn't really, I don't know how they were like together, except for the fact that they were doing something within blockchain gaming. So that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. So, as I'm choking on the hot chocolate here, let's get into the traditional stream of the day. Thank you guys for being here. But Tim Sweeney, big news. The Epic Game Store and other app stores are coming to the Google Play Store in 2025 in the US of A. Without Google's scare screens and Google's 30% app tax thanks to victory in Epic versus Google. Now, Tim does go on to say this is only in the US, so they still have to fight like the global battle, but Again, these different app stores, what are we going to see with the Solana mobile phones? Been kind of quiet on that front. The monopolies, what is it going to look like in the future? So, one of the things I've complained about a lot, love complaining, true, is that for Ape Fest every single year, there's no way to view it. There's nothing to do if you aren't going out traveling across the world, paying for all these plane tickets, everything else. Listen, it's expensive to travel in 2024. But good news, they announced Voyager's Ape Fest and Other Side will take place on October 19th at 3 p.m. Come party with us and Other Side in the Swamp while the full moon party is underway at Ape Fest Lisbon. Couple years late, but listen, better late than never. Love it. And we did highlight the other day the Bored Ape Beamer Club with BMW, just wanting to kind of show some of the, merch associated with it. Does look kind of cool and begs the question regarding collectability down the line. Are all these merch pieces things that we should be spending a lot of money on, like the Bape Collective? And speaking of spending a lot of money, do you remember back in the day? When you were going to buy a video game console? Now, I think this was like before I really started getting into games, but they have the Sony PlayStation, the Nintendo 64, $150. You go and try to buy a console now, it's like $600 to $800. Unbelievable. Also, games are going for like $60. I'm surprised actually now looking back at these ones, because I thought games got cheaper for a point, but maybe it was just like EB Games and the used versions that I remember paying like $20 to $30. But I mean, games right now are like $80, but going back to way back in the day, that was actually the same price. So kind of surprised about that. Sir, that's called inflation. Our money is dead. True. Camel, I don't know if this is a KEKW post exactly, but Camel's saying, not gonna lie, these are one of the hardest shoes dropping this year. And this was the Bape X BAYC. It's like, okay, but I listen with the whole like Katy Perry left shark, right shark thing happened a while ago. It's just not my style, to be honest. Now, one thing relating back to the permissionless, Kieran from Illuvium did comment on they had what, like $4 million plus, or it was like several $100,000 per month they're going to have for different esport events or tournaments regarding Illuvium. And that's phenomenal. We highlighted the Dookie Dash Cup the other day, $20,000 for that. The list can go on. There's a lot happening. And speaking of which, Neo Tokyo bringing up My Pet Hooligan, $1,000 plus of carrot and bites on the line for players. October 10th, which is tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, in the Neo Tokyo Discord. Everything within Web3 gaming right now is having some kind of reward, some kind of ability to earn from it. I don't know if all of them you're going to have to own assets for it, because right now, I mean, if you think of Parallel and some of these other ones, including like Neo Tokyo here, I mean, is it just only available for people that have the Neo Tokyo assets that can get in the certain Discord, and then it's like gate kept in that way? Is this going to be open for everybody? How does this look? We have the questions about the DAOs. We have the questions about the guilds. I mean, I'm just sitting here like, okay, let's wait and see. But it is very, very exciting, and there is a lot of money on the line here. Think of how much these teams have raised, how much they have within their own token. Again, it's kind of like having money out of thin air. They're able to do whatever with. Now, speaking of printing money out of thin air, hello, Disney. The first wave of Pixar Playtime Badges Volume 1 has landed in early access. So I've not really gotten into Disney Pinnacle much, but we got Dory from Finding Nemo. We got Jack from The Incredibles and Mr. Woody from Toy Story. So open edition ones. Remember when there used to be open editions of like photography NFTs and other stuff within NFTs? Well, now listen, guys, we got a Disney Pinnacle doing a bunch of pins on a mass scale. If you haven't seen over the weekend, well, actually, I guess this was yesterday. This was yesterday, wasn't it? No, October 8th. No, it was yesterday. Okay, cool. So off the grid, you wake up, you're having a good time, just chilling, and I go on my computer, open up Twitch, and almost everybody that I follow that streams Warzone, Call of Duty, any kind of first-person shooter, they're all playing off the grid. And I'm like, well, that's strange, because I've only ever seen these people play Call of Duty for the most part. There was Tim the Tap Man, there was Scump, it was Ninja, who apparently has his own skin within this game, but off the grid being touted as one of the games that is going to reach mass adoption within the blockchain space. Now, what's interesting is apparently there isn't a token that's out right now. So this is like pre-hype launch. It seems like it's all going really well. I don't really have a whole lot to say regarding it other than it's cool that it's getting this kind of attention and brings up the conversation that happened a lot before of we just need one game to be successful and then the whole industry, we're going to be great and it's going to be awesome and the speculation is going to return because we just haven't had any kind of speculation within gaming. A lot of people question numbers that come out. But for the most part, I've seen people being extremely positive about the game. From a viewer perspective, I was struggling a little bit, to be honest. I think there was a lot that was going on. I don't know if I just don't like how kind of like the gunplay looks, where again, for like the Futureverse demo they showed a second ago, I was like, it seems like kind of off. I don't know if it's like the third person. It would be third person. It's not for, the third person view angle. I don't know if I love that component of it. Maybe you can change that, maybe not. But it does seem like there's a lot for it, but the battle royale genre, it's looking good. Boomer, the amount of money they had to pay for them all to stream it was mind-blowing. Yes, I agree. And so further to that, I'm wondering if like for Scump, Tim the Tapman, and Ninja, were they paid for it or was it only for Ninja? Because some of the people that I saw, like as an example, Major Maniac, if anybody watches Call of Duty esports, he was on FaZe a while ago, and he's not like in the league right now. I think he's playing like challengers, but I mean, he was playing it and a whole bunch of other like smaller tier people. Clayster was a part of that. Obviously, Clayster's not like smaller tier by any means, but he was having like 200 to 300 viewers for it. And it was just, it was very interesting the amount of people that were on top of it. So I saw this post and I just wanted to highlight it. And there was somebody that was talking about content in general. And it was about Gary Vee talking about the rise of micro content being 15-second videos. And so if you guys are on YouTube, if you're wanting to go over to the shorts page, I did upload 2 shorts yesterday. Listen, the amount of effort I put into them, zilch. But they had like 500 views. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it was from the stream that we had when we were recapping the Dookie Dash. And it was just basically like a blow-up version of me talking, explaining the Mongrel winning the $1 million and like just a little bit about the event. And I'm like, damn, like that was a 60-second clip. But are we actually going to be at a realm where 15-second videos are like the thing to do? So keep an eye out. Might do more content around 15 seconds. Might not. We'll see. So also for Off the Grid, apparently they completely like maxed out the Epic Games Store. It says on here, we are experiencing a high transaction volume. Please try again later. And this was yesterday around 1 p.m. Eastern. So pretty crazy the amount of attention that game has gotten. Cyrus just gave a $200,000 loan on 2 mutant apes. $200,000! And then realized the floor on them is $5,000. True, but the 2 apes that he gave a loan to were these mega mutants. Now, one of them this one was owned by the guy who did the gauntlets. I'm trying to remember what the hell his name was. Boss Logic? Something along those lines? I have no idea if they're still doing anything on Web3. And then the second one that was like the electric, trippy, not trippy, sorry. The noise Mega Mutant on the other side. This I thought was owned by Machi Big Bro. But either way, guys, if you have $200,000, know that you can make $12,000 in 90 days if they pay it back, or you can get 2 Mega Mutant apes. And just unbelievable to think about. Unbelievable. Now, speaking of unbelievable, somehow NFTs have continued to make their rounds on the mainstream news. Joe Rogan absolutely shredding on Bored Ape Yacht Club on his podcast to hundreds of millions of listeners. So that's always a good thing to have the uphill battle, but also the argument of living rent-free in people's ads, the conversation is still there, so it's still relevant. You'd think, hey, all this stuff would be dead. Well, people are still talking about it, right? Saying there's no real value in that NFT. I can screenshot it. Again, we have and I did this stream a while ago. If you've been watching, that was talking about like education and perspective along with narrative. And there's a huge like ignorant wall, right? Where I'm not educated in certain aspects. Other people aren't educated in certain aspects. They maybe want to just mention something because it's clickbaitable and it's going to get super viral, which of course the entire crypto community, myself included, is out there sharing this clip. So it absolutely worked. But you wonder, does this person actually believe that? Or is it just, some kind of other motive behind the screen? Fun fact, BlackRock, MicroStrategy, and Grayscale each own all more Bitcoin than the US government. Sheesh. China, 190,000 Bitcoin. United Kingdom, 61,000. Ukraine, 46,000. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, 220,000. MicroStrategy, huge amounts. Tether Holdings, BitMEX, Fidelity, iShares. There, listen. we got countries, we got huge hedge funds. We're doing all right, baby. True. So this is kind of a quick little recap from that Dookie Dash Cup. I wanted to just play it right quick. And again, yesterday we did do a video where we kind of went over certain aspects, and towards the end of it, again, if you watch anything, just skip to like the last 2 minutes because it's hilarious the way the interview went. But here's the recap of the Dookie Dash Cup, and I'm curious what you guys think. From the voiceover, I know Yo Jeremy was like, I'm not a fan of the voiceover, to the production aspect of this. I know a lot of people didn't watch the full events, but whenever we see these things that are pushed out from somebody that's not on the hardcore kind of like Web3 side, because again, a lot of these content creators were from the Fortnite scene and they're, I guess, like directing towards the normies. But anyway, here's a quick 2-minute video.
Swamp Gaming and Yuga Labs just put on a historic Web3 gaming event. We successfully introduced Web3 gaming to traditional gamers while also integrating esports into the Web3 gaming space. And we accomplished this while hundreds of thousands of gamers tuned in live to witness.
Okay. Hold on a minute. So I need we need to stat check this, because he says hundreds of thousands of people ended up tuning into this one, but we can like actually verify this, right? So let's go to the tweet where it's the Dookie Dash Cup. So for the Dookie Dash Cup going on here, it looks like there was about 10.6 thousand views on that. Okay. And then the other one was on the Fax's Twitch channel. And those were the only 2 streams with it. These were the only 2 streams with it. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Started replaying one of these, the $20,000 Dookie Dash Cup. And so within this one,
wow.
Let's see if this will show it the right way. So right here, it's got about 25,000 views. So if we smash them together, it's not even hundreds of thousands of views. And again, not trying to be like hypercritical or anything for it, but I mean, again, let's recheck on the verbiage and the bold claims.
In space. And we accomplished this while hundreds of thousands of gamers tuned in live to witness the Dookie Dash Cup unfold. A key goal in onboarding the masses is educating traditional gamers. And to achieve this, we must present our industry as a safe and professional environment. That's why high quality production was essential for this event. We showcased some of the most advanced, cutting edge gear and technology available, delivering an event on par with the world's biggest gaming and esports competitions. In delivering this high quality event, we carefully selected several exceptional Made by Apes brands and Web3 communities to feature, ensuring a seamless integration where the line between Web3 companies and traditional brands was virtually indistinguishable. In essence, we introduced all of the dope brands and builders in Web3 to the traditional consumers, and guess what? They absolutely loved it. We set out to take a major leap for Dookie Dash Unclogged and break barriers in Web3 gaming. And now that it is all said and done, I think it's safe to say that we absolutely crushed those goals here at Swamp Gaming. But this is only the beginning of our journey. The best is yet to come.
The first ever Dookie Dash tournament hosted by someone that is not Yuga Labs and Bored Ape. You actually own that asset in a way like never before, where you could actually go and trade it for a skin or sell it for money. Goats Cheetah, Web3 gamer, right? You are witnessing a legitimate professional player who has earned thousands of dollars competing. He is now playing Dookie Dash. I'm gonna crack open an ape water here, bro. That hoodie, high quality stuff, baby. Woo!
Look at that. Look at that.
The best of the best going head to head right now.
If this isn't the best grand finals that could have happened, I don't know what is. Sway goes down.
Oh my God.
Rolly goes down. Sway was scared at first, but Sway.
Why is there any doubt though? You know, I've been in these situations multiple times. BFCs, tens of thousands of
Look at him.
Champ, look at me.
You are the champion, the first ever Dookie Dash Cup champion.
Okay, so again, apart from the numbers, they thought that the production of that like trailer looked pretty solid. Again, there was issues with it where again, like they screwed up the leaderboard, and there was some other like minor things, including like changing the format for it and whatnot. But it was a really, really cool event. And again, the amount of money within that and all these other events within Web3, sheesh. And this is what that booth looked like. So they have Illuvium off the side, and this is just kind of like what permissionless is. But again, I'm still like super confused for that like live stream. Why in the world did they not mention what the partnership between the three of them were? Completely unrelated to Web3, but do you guys see the Florida Panthers Stanley Cup winning rings? Sheesh. They got the date on it. They got the teams they eliminated with the score. Look at the shine of the diamond. They got a rat for some reason. The ring itself, unbelievable. But I thought this was really, really cool, so I wanted to share with you guys that haven't seen it. Now, in addition to the aspect that that's not Web3, well, what if there is a certain component of it that sort of is? Panthers president and CEO Matthew Caldwell just said on the Script Sports broadcast that season ticket holders of 30 years will also receive a championship ring. Oh, so this is like a crazy loyalty program where, again, obviously season tickets cost a lot of money. And those rings would also probably be sold for a decent amount afterwards, because traditionally within sports, okay, you have like the team's athletic staff, you have maybe the owners and the players, but there's not really many outside of that. So you basically just stuck hoping that a player would sell a ring. Let's assume that you were some massive collector wanting to get these championship rings, and I've seen them on like Pawn Stars, etc. But is this like kind of not like an NFT loyalty program in a way? We have something, 30 years, you get a huge ring. Listen, that's not too shabby. That's not too shabby. Pretty long commitment though, nonetheless. McDonald's coffee is better than Tim Hortons. Fight me for any Canadians. I agree with that statement. Again, if you guys are wanting to watch that stream from yesterday, we did have like a 41-minute one regarding what happened at that event, recounting all of the things. So if you enjoyed having that little kind of clip segment a second ago, I did do that in a much bigger way. So Miss Gecko was highlighting this from Decentraland, and what in the halibut is this? The secret is out. Improved graphics, a new quest system, and badge achievements are just a few of the updates coming October 22nd. So when we stop and pause for a moment about Decentraland, I have generally said, I'm just like not a huge fan of it. I remember doing like Bored Ape Poker and other events that the metaverse had, but it was just like, I wasn't super over the top regarding it. And was that because some of the activities within there wasn't good? Was that because the visuals didn't really give me any kind of like, yeah, I love living in this world? Maybe. But the improved graphics aspect, I hope that it's kind of a big change and not just like, hey, it looks like a little bit nicer. Because for some of these big players, I think you're going to need it. Now, going over to Crypto Slam, when was the last time you guys went to Crypto Slam, finding out all the insights, top NFT collectible sales? We got a CryptoPunk on here. We have some Bitcoin ordinals. We have a Mad Lads NFL all day. One of the moments going for $5,500. Looks like the market right now for some of the top dogs here are down on the day, except Solana is actually up. And it's also up on the wash trading, which is kind of insane. But the total USD on Ethereum for NFTs, 3,724,000 on Bitcoin, 2 million, and on Solana, 1.8 million, with Mythos chain and Polygon behind that with like way less at $600,000 to $500,000 below. And then it really, really gets down. We're Flow 381,000, Blast 15,000. What in the halibut? Wax is still actually cooking there at 13K. Panini, Zora with 406. Insane. Kind of funny to look back at those. Yo, Super Bowl, what's going on? Rumachachi. So, Readyverse had a update for their website, and I guess this is to coincide what was going on for permissionless. So they highlight Ready Player One, Warner Brothers, the DeLorean Motor Company, Reebok, Epic Games, and FIFA. So the FIFA game is kind of interesting. Like, how exactly is that getting integrated? When we talk about these different sports and whatnot, they have like an AI League game, which you can download on your mobile phone if you're wanting to try it. I think it's like all right. But I didn't realize there was more of a partnership beyond just that singular experience. So that is interesting. Increase your reach and connect with new audiences and community and player-owned spaces. Surreal Estates. Your game and IP assets can be displayed within the spaces your players create. For strongholds, public spaces where brands and communities can unite through shared experiences. So the idea of everything happening in the metaverse might happen. And as you can see, multiple different characters from Bored Apes to the characters within Ready Player One, Fluff, the Cool Cat, Party Bear, Walker World, and some of the other assets and whatnot. Next gen marketing. This was the gunplay that they showed within that game. Again, it feels like one of those things where I need to try it. And it also shows on the top for notifications, you received 1,000 root from player X. You want to race. There was an update. On the left, there's all these libraries where you can swap between these different components, as well as the chat list on the side. So again, very excited just to see what this kind of looks like as a whole. But then this is kind of one of the last trailers that'll play from you. And this is just a little bit of a different look from what they showed at permissionless. And there's no audio with this, so I can go. It feels like they're all very like, I don't know if like, do we call it like manly confidence? I don't know, the way that like there's like the walk, it's like there's this very like posh pizzazz, except never mind. It's a little bit different. For the first like 4, it showed that, but now that running, it doesn't, you know, the toughness is kind of gone. But still, the graphics look really nice. The entire world looks kind of cool. And yeah, now just waiting to get our hands on it. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you are tuning in late and you're wanting to see what the conversation at permissionless was between Polemos, Illuvium, and Futureverse, just rewind the video if you're on YouTube, or restart the stream once I end here on Twitch or X. And you guys will be able to see that. Thank you so much for coming on through. Super Bowl, appreciate you. Boomer,